Oh, I'm an old man. Thank you so much. Good morning. I'm told I have to hit that little bell a couple of times to kind of really get everybody's attention. So, welcome to Unity Spiritual Center, Georgetown. It's a beautiful morning. I was telling Sid, who is our resident architect, and I told him, is there a way you can design this? We can like open up the roof? Because this would be the day to do that, right? A retractable roof. Anyway, thank you for being here today. We're very happy that you have joined us this morning as we spend time in prayer and in affirmations and in music and in learning and just fellowship and creating an energy field that we can send out into the greater universe. We were watching one of these webinars yesterday, and it just reminds us that we really are all connected to everything, and we can send out this energy. And in fact, right now, I'd like to just take a really brief moment for you to just kind of focus on the Middle East right now. just for a few seconds and just picture yourself sending, because this works. They know that it does. It's measurable and all kinds of things. Picture ourselves all this, sending this energy of love and healing and peace to the Middle East for just a moment. Peace be with you all. Unity is a positive path for spiritual living. We offer a very unique approach to spirituality, unlike most others. And somebody was mentioning, no names, but we say we're different. Yes, but we can be different and still one. And I think I've shared that with you. Differentiation is not separation. Because, we have an arm and we have a leg and we have a head and we have lungs, and they're all different, but they're not separate. So that's the beauty of the dance of the 3D world. We can be both one and many at the same time. So we are a blending of many different perspectives. The primary one is, of course, our Western Christianity, but we also have a lot of elements of the East. We have transcendentalism, which we've been talking about before, where that whole idea that God is in everything, in nature and everywhere. And as one of the authors that we were listening to at Let's Get Metaphysical group says that when you have that perspective, that everything is God, then you live in an enchanted world. And I don't know why, but that really kind of struck me. I said, I like the idea of living in an enchanted world. And it's like anything else, mastering an instrument or anything else. There is practice to be done. And today we're going to talk about a little bit of that in the 4 agreements, because really that's talking about practices. And as you know, one of them today is don't make assumptions. And as I said last week about taking things personally, I hate to waste your time like that, because I know that none of you either take things personally or make assumptions ever. Nobody does. It's a waste of your time, but I just want to keep you in mind. We're talking about, the other people that do that kind of stuff. So, we also have no creed or no dogma, but we do have our 5 principles that formulate our philosophy. And our foundational belief is in oneness. When you strip everything else, what's the bottom of everything? Oneness. And our fundamental practice is living in the present moment. Please join me in affirming our mission statement. We are a spiritual community inspiring and empowering individual and global transformation as exemplified by the life and the teachings of Jesus. Once again, welcome to Unity Spiritual Center, Georgetown, a spiritual breath of fresh air. The announcements. Who's my reader today? Who did I see was the reader? I didn't see it. Can you see what the reader says?
Can I just say there were some glasses left at my house, turquoise. They're on the counter out here, and there were also some.
Because this is last week's. Oh, Claudia, she's not here. Then I guess Alice will be my reader.
Stepping in the last minute. Sorry about that.
You all know that this is Alice Cooper. She's our board president.
Okay. If you are here for the first time, we'd like to extend a special welcome. If you feel comfortable, please stand and wave and say hi and tell us who you are. Ah, is there somebody? Hi, who are you?
Margaret.
This is Margaret.
Yeah, this is my first time to be here.
All right. And where are you from, Margaret?
Moved here from Dallas.
All right, from Dallas. Very good. Well, welcome.
I was talking to Margaret before that, and she is a Unity person and everything, so it's good.
Yeah, all right. Well, welcome. We hope you'll think about making Unity Spiritual Center Georgetown your spiritual home. Oh, that is nice. Okay, the Let's Get Metaphysical discussion group with Reverend Tommy meets on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. at Legacy Hills Park across the street.
Okay, hold on. I think we're going to meet at Anne's house this week because I'm not sure about the weather. And just to be safe, I'll go ahead and announce it. And when I send out the videos later tonight or whatever, I'll remind you. So we'll meet
Put
at
the
Anne's
address.
house, and I'll put the address because I forgot what it is.
Okay. Okay, the book club meets on the fourth Tuesday of each month at the Lark and Owl at 10 a.m. The next meeting will be on November 28th, and the book to be discussed is Conscious Dreaming by Robert Moss. The Funded Fellowship team is making a new start this Tuesday, November 14th at 7 p.m. We will meet on Zoom to see what kinds of creative ideas we can think of for next year. If interested, contact me, and it's got my email address, I think, up there. Text to donate. We now have text to give available. If you have ever made a donation online, it is similar. The number is up there on the screen. Just text, and we'll have it up there at the offering also if you want to look at it then. Just text a dollar amount to that number. You will be directed to our Breeze website automatically to enter your name and address details and your source of funds. You only have to enter the first time you give. And I gotta say, it's really easy that once you've done it once, you just put the number on there and give a dollar amount and it does it automatically. Dan, our musical director, is having a concert on December 3rd. So it's going to be right after service until 2 p.m. Breeze Pink bring a potluck dish to share, and on the website or on the newsletter, there's a link to request certain songs. Kathy Herring had some utensils or glasses left behind from the potluck at her house. If you are missing something, please check the table outside, or you can check with Kathy. The choir is regrouping to find a time to meet. Yay! We're thinking of singing something for Christmas, so please see the newsletter for more details, or if you're interested, holler at me. Volunteers are needed. If you would like to volunteer and be part of our worker bee colony, please sign up. The categories are greeter, reader, setup, tech support, PowerPoint, angel team, Sunday school, and hospitality. So there's lots of opportunities. There's more information on each opportunity on the welcome table. Why not try something out for a few months and see if it fits you? Please print your name, phone number, and email legibly and put it in the offering. For additional information and to sign up for these events, please visit the welcome table in the foyer, check out our weekly newsletter, go to our website, or email admin@unitygeorgetown.org. Thank you.
So as you know, we like to start with a little bit of humor because I consider it the shaking off of the clothes. When you have to walk around and get a lot of static electricity on your clothes, you have to kind of shake it like that. So humor kind of does that to get us started in the right frame of mind. And since today we're talking about don't make assumptions, this is one that I think Rosemary has sent me this one, and it pretty much exemplifies what happens when we do. So there's a wedding ceremony going on, and the pastor asks if anyone had anything to say concerning the union of the bride and the groom. He said, "This is the time to stand up and talk or forever hold your peace." Well, the moment of utter silence was broken by a young, beautiful woman carrying a child. She started walking towards the pastor very slowly. The bride's face got red as a beet. She turns and slaps the groom so hard, knocks him to his knees. The groom's mother faints. The bride's mother starts cursing at the young man. The two dads start throwing punches at each other. The groomsmen look at each other in disbelief and don't know how to help their poor friend. By now, everything is in complete and utter chaos. Finally, the young lady arrives at the altar, And the pastor asked the woman, "Very well, young lady, what is it that you have to say?" She says, "We can't hear in the back." Don't make assumptions. Let's rise and begin our service. Beautiful light, ain't it wonderful how the light shines, walking in the light. Beautiful light, ain't it wonderful how the light shines. The Lord has blessed my family. In the light, beautiful light, ain't it wonderful how the light shines? Peace in the light, beautiful light, ain't it wonderful, ain't it glorious, ain't it marvelous?
Today's daily word is faith, and the affirmation for today is faith heals, prospers, blesses, and sustains me. Sometimes I wish I had a way of looking into the future and knowing what to expect. But even though I cannot know how the future might unfold, I can still be prepared for it through the power of my faith. Having faith means having unwavering fidelity to spiritual truth. My faith is my anchor, keeping me steady during shifting worldly circumstances and focused not on the things of the world, but on the power of spirit. My faith keeps me steadfast in the midst of uncertainty, inventive when met with stagnation, and adaptable when faced with changing circumstances. I turn my attention to God and feel my soul illumined by my belief that everything is working for good. I align with this truth and go forth blessed by my faith. For we walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5, verse 7. Please read the affirmation with me twice. Faith heals, prospers, blesses, and sustains me. Faith heals, prospers, blesses, and sustains me. Thank you.
I'm going to light the candles that represent divine order. Mind, idea, expression. Mind is that overarching potentiality. When we tap into it, we receive ideas from that one mind. And as we implement those ideas, that is our expression. Please join me in our prayer of intention. Living Spirit opens our hearts, touches us all deeply with love, and sends us out as agents of people, agents of peace, agents of justice. Amen. I don't see any children here today, but wherever they are in this world, we bless them.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me know that love is all around me. Oh, let me know that love is all around me. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Please join me in affirming our statement of being and our vision statement. There is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. God, we can create a world of love, peace, and abundance. Let's quiet ourselves now for our community prayer. We know we are all centered in God. Spirit, the one mind, the Atman, the Buddha nature, whatever we wish to call it. It is that same power. As we dwell on this, we recognize all are one. We all share one another's joys and burdens. As we rest in this awareness, we create a powerful space into which we can be lifted, and those we love and those worldly concerns can be lifted up. So, in the quiet, speak aloud or in the silence of your heart, whatever it is that you're bringing into this space, and release it to the only power there is. And now we close our time of prayer by singing an ancient prayer, one handed down through the ages that affirms God's realm manifest in earth as it is in heaven, the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory
Well, today I'm going to talk about a spiritual practice that you are going to love. It's the secret to increasing your positivity, your prosperity, your health, your happiness. I was going to say your weight, but most of us don't want to do that. But it will increase your light and your love. What could be better? Are you excited? Yeah. Okay. Well, let me quote Mildred Fillmore, Myrtle. I even bolded it so I wouldn't say her name wrong. Myrtle Fillmore. Heaven and earth listen and respond to the soul that is quickened into praise and thanksgiving. Praise is gratitude in action. Now, that word quickened that Myrtle used, to me means vibration. And gratitude is one of the quickest ways to amp up your vibration. Time and time again, we've been told that what we put out there into the world comes back to us. Like attracts like. This is a law of the universe, and it says that you can bring about the good you seek according to how you direct your thoughts and feelings. Charles Fillmore wrote, "Every thought that goes forth from the brain sends vibrations into the surrounding atmosphere and moves the realm of things into action. The effect is in proportion to the ability of the thinker to concentrate his mental forces." When you are vibrating at a higher level, you feel lighter, happier, and more at ease. When lower vibrations are there, you may feel heavy, dark, even confused. Almost all spiritual traditions point the way toward higher realms of consciousness. And the scientific studies, like those conducted by the research of spirituality by Dr. David Hawkins, have even quantified the vibrations of different states of mind and created a scale or a map of consciousness. The frequencies range from shame, guilt, and grief, which are the lowest frequencies or the lowest vibrations, to joy, peace, and enlightenment, which are the highest. Gratitude calibrates right up there with joy and peace. So when we are feeling grateful, we have more in our lives to be grateful for. Like energy attracts like energy. Feelings of gratitude, like love, the more we give, the more we receive. While misery still loves company, love, gratitude, and joy attract love, gratitude, and joy. So how are you vibrating now? She's my sound effects person. How about the world? Well, I have another quote for you. "It's a troublesome world. All the people who are in it are troubled with troubles almost every minute. You ought to be thankful, a whole heaping lot, for the places and people you're lucky you're not." So you know where that came from. Let us take the practice of gratitude into our meditation time. So relax into your chair. You might want to put both feet on the floor and welcome a deep, cleansing breath. Feel your collarbone rise and exhale slowly. If it's comfortable for you, close your eyes. Turn your attention to something you are grateful for in this moment. Now think on another. There's always something. And another. Feel the shift as you raise your gratitude vibration. And continue to practice this in the silence. Let this day and the days ahead be ones of gratitude. You'll know when it's time to bring your attention back to the room when Dan begins to sing.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Judy. Today, I will talk about the four agreements. I will finalize a two-part series based on the book by Don Miguel Ruiz. Before I do that, let me briefly summarize what we talked about last week, just so we can get up to speed for just a moment. We are told that the four agreements come to us from the Toltec culture that lived in southern Mexico about 1,000 years ago. And according to Don Miguel, the Toltec were scientists and artists who formed a society to explore and conserve the spiritual knowledge and the practices of the ancient ones. And we talked about all these little secret societies that have throughout history. And there are the Gnostics, of course, we know, the Essenes, the Masons, the Toltec, and Unity, because nobody knows who we are. We are a secret society. We must end this. Of the four agreements, Don Miguel writes, the four agreements reveals the source of our self-limiting beliefs that rob us of joy and create needless suffering. If you adopt these four agreements, you will create enough personal power to change the entire system of the old agreements. It will take a very strong will, but the changes in your life will be transformative. The drama and the hell in your life will disappear. You will be able to create your own heaven on earth. Well, there you have it. Four simple things to do to change your life completely, according to the Toltec and Don Miguel. So what are these four little simple things, agreements? The first one is, be impeccable with your word. We talked about last week. And why? Because words have power. And the second is don't take anything personally, which, as I said, we don't do that around here. Because when you take something personally, really, you are accepting someone else's truth. You're accepting their perspective as the truth, and it's not. The third is don't make assumptions. And the fourth is always do your best. Last week we covered the introduction and the first two, so this week we'll get into the third one, which is don't make assumptions. The third agreement begins by telling us that the problem with making assumptions is that we tend to believe that they are true. Just like this morning, created an entire mess based on an assumption. And because we're not mindful of these agreements, we consequently create a vicious cycle of unneeded misery in our lives. It goes something like this. We make an assumption about what others are doing, and we take it personally. We blame them because, of course, nothing is ever our fault. There's just no way. And then we react by sending out, he calls poison with our words. So we're asking for problems every time that we make assumptions. We end up creating a giant drama over, most of the time, nothing. I mean, how many times honestly do we react to something that hasn't even happened yet? But you know, what if some this, and we just go on, and we do it all the time. You know we do. He said, the book says that all the sadness and drama you have had in your life is because you made assumptions and you took them personally. We're asked to take a moment to consider the truth of that statement. We all know how it works because we've all done it. We make an assumption, we believe it, we add fuel to it, and before we know it, it's a monster consuming our lives. It continues to grow out of control, and it becomes our reality. And yet it has no basis in reality, except that the misery that it causes us. So we add all this together, and it comes up to be what I call sin, which is self-imposed nonsense. Sin. Now let's consider what can go wrong when we make assumptions about our relationships. Nothing could possibly go wrong there. For example, we make the mistake that partners know what we are thinking, and that we don't have to say how we feel, so we don't. What's the result of that? Things don't go very well. And what's our response? You should have known. Sure, you should have known. Another assumption gone wrong is when you get married and think that your partner sees marriage like you see marriage. How long does it take to figure that one out? Not very long. In all of our relationships, we think of things and we think that everybody knows what we should be doing, and we don't speak out. It's a vicious cycle, it really is, and we get upset with the whole thing, and then we say, well, you should have known me by now. I shouldn't have to say anything. That we make all kinds of assumptions all the time because we don't have, the book says, because we don't have the courage to ask questions or tell people how we really feel. Instead, we jump to conclusions. We also make the assumption that everyone sees life the way that we see life. The truth is, we only see what we want to see, and in Unity, we teach that we see what our consciousness reveals to us, the level of consciousness that we are at. That's where you're living all the time. But the idea that everybody should see things the way I do, a perfect example, of course, is religion, and we know that. Thinking about how we see things, this is a right way to do things. Politics is another. So I don't talk about politics, but I kind of have to talk about religion. so I do, but only for clarity. Only for clarity, of course. Book says that when it comes to relationship, real love is accepting your partner the way that they are. Same holds true for others, accepting you the way that you are. Does that mean you don't need to change? Oh no, we need to change. But change comes from within. It's not about another person trying to change you. Because expecting someone to change because we want them to change only ends up in resentment. And it creates, and you notice how all these agreements work with and off of each other. They kind of bounce back and forth and give themselves energy until we make a vicious cycle, as we said before. So most of the mess that we have in our lives is stuff that we do to ourselves. I think that's kind of been established by most people. And that's the point of the book, to recognize this and to try to break this cycle, but it takes a conscious effort. And it says that with clear communication, our relationships will change. Cuentas claras. I used to have a minister back he was a Mexican priest, and he'd say, cuentas claras, amistades largas. And that means when we're clear about our cuentas is like, okay, our terms, about how we feel about things, then it creates long-lasting relationships. So cuentas claras, that's what that means. And the author talks about it, that white magicians use the word for positive, creating, giving, sharing, and loving. That is the goal, according to the Toltec. It is the way to personal freedom. And that's the point of the book, finding that personal freedom from all of that. And as I said, most of it is self-imposed stuff. And we have to catch ourselves, and I think we're getting probably better at it. I told you that, you know, I'm actually getting pretty good at the checkout counter at HEB. You know, when you go to the express line, you know, and there's somebody there, and you're going, I thought this was the express line. It's not very expressive. But you know what? Nowadays, I start looking at the magazines. And whatever, you know, I'll get there when I get there. What am I going to do? I got to check out. So last week, I asked you to challenge yourself and to catch yourself how many times you take things personally. So this week, I'll ask you to challenge yourself again and see how many times do you make assumptions. This brings us to agreement number 4. Always do your best. This last agreement is the one that the book says again, the one that allows the other 3 to become deeply ingrained habits. The thing to remember about always doing your best is that it is a relative action, meaning that because we're always changing and growing, then our best is always getting better. But nevertheless, in any given situation, always do your best. And when we're doing our best, we are always living our lives to the fullest. Doing your best is taking the action because you love it, not because you expect some sort of a reward. You do it for the sake of doing it. We talk about that sometimes. Like, if you can't do it with joy, don't do it. Just plain don't do it. Here's what the author says about doing your best. The first 3 agreements will work only if you do your best. And he adds this caveat. Don't expect that you will always be able to be impeccable with your word. Your routine habits are too strong and firmly rooted in your mind, but you can do your best. So you're chipping away at it, basically. He says, don't expect you will never take anything personally. Just do your best. And don't expect that you will never make another assumption, but you can certainly do your best. Because why is that? Because we have such ingrained habits. You know, it would be nice to flip it overnight, and it's possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. It is possible. But generally speaking, we got to chip away at this, you know, all the time. And the first step is, of course, being conscious that we are doing it. So if you're conscious of that, then we're heading in the right direction. So don't give up. Keep doing it. If you do your best always over and over and over again, you will become a master of transformation, we are told. Practice makes perfect. It's about repetition. Every time you falter, get back up. Do it again. Keep chipping away at it. I always talk about that from a musical point of view. It's like you're not going to pick up an instrument and master it overnight. Well, some people actually can, but it's a very rare thing. Most of us have to really work on it and practice it. So the book tells us that when we honor these 4 agreements, there is no way we can live anything but a good life. The agreements are a summary of the mastery of transformation. And I've said that 1,000 times in Unity. We're teaching transformation. And why? Because everything is here already. It's within us. We don't need to find something. We need to realize things. That is a vast different approach to things. So one of the masteries of the Toltecs, he talks about breaking these old agreements. It reminds us that we're stuck in a system, and he says controlled by man-made rules and what he calls a big judge. And we buy into the whole system. We have bought into the system because we don't question things. But in Unity, we do question things. And we're trying to break that and getting out of ourselves, out of that system. And we're told that the first step in breaking it is this awareness. And there's no reason to suffer with awareness because you say, that's enough. I don't want to do that. I don't want to play that game anymore. To be Toltec is a way of life, he says. It is a way of life where there are no leaders and there are no followers. That's a big deal in Unity too, responsibility, your own journey, the captain of your own ship. And there's no reason to suffer. There really is not. So we are told that we have our truth and we live by our own truth. And they say that we have 3 masteries that lead people to the Toltecs, to lead people to be free, according to the Toltecs. The first is a mastery of awareness, to be aware of who we really are. And that's a big one. That is a really big one. The second is a mastery of transformation. This is about how to change and become free from what he calls domestication, which is the race consciousness. Because we really have bought into the whole thing. And the more we learn, we realize that, is it true, what we've been told? Probably not. Maybe partially at a certain level, but there's so much more to everything. And the third one, he says, is the mastery of intent. And it says that the intent, from the Toltec point of view, is that part of life which makes transformation of energy possible. It is one living that seamlessly and encompasses all energy of what we call God. Intent is life itself. It is unconditional love. The mastery of intent, therefore, is the mastery of love. The Toltec path to freedom is an entire map to breaking these old agreements. The judge, the victim, the belief system, he calls the parasite. The parasite. And that's a good imagery, I think, of telling us what it is doing to us. And as he says, the parasite is like a multi-headed monster. And each head represents one of our fears. And this parasite, he said, but can be defeated in different ways. The first is to attack each head. He uses, continuing the symbolism. And he says it works, but it's a slow process. The second is to stop feeding it. Stop doing it. And the third is what he calls the initiation of the dead. Now, the initiation of the dead is something that can be found in many world traditions. It is a symbolic death, the crucifixion, right? The crucifixion is that symbolic death of that ego-centered consciousness. That's what it's all about. But he says the bottom line is that we need to take charge of our lives and of our destinies. What do we say in Unity? Change your mind, change your world. It all begins with our thoughts and our beliefs, because as we know, life works from the inside out. But it's not working this way, it's working this way. So you're seeing what's inside of you, essentially. So it's up to us to choose, and we have the power to choose. We have the power to choose what agreements we make and what agreements we don't make. So I want to invite you, can I get a little music down, please, to just take a few moments this morning to contemplate today's message. get comfortable in your chair and take a few deep breaths and open your heart and your mind to the wisdom of divine guidance. We become present and realize all the old limiting agreements we have accepted as truth. We work on releasing them all. The book ends with a chapter called The New Dream, Heaven on Earth. A goal found in all traditions, a goal of becoming spiritually awake and live in the awareness of our true divine nature. Over and over in this last chapter, we see the word image, the word that expresses one of our 12 powers. Daily, we continue our transformative process by mindfully releasing those old thoughts, and we replace them with new and empowering thoughts. Through our power of imagination, we imagine, picture, conceptualize, envision, dream, and affirm all that we can be as divine expressions of this one source. Today's lesson reminds us that as we change our mind, we change our world. And every time we practice this process, we add to our ability to rise above the noise and the confusion, and we make life easier, more meaningful, and more abundant. The 4 agreements remind us to be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. And always do your best. And so it is. Today we have special music, a lovely song that you will really enjoy about Believe. That will do it. Boy, now comes the time when we offer our tithes and offerings to our spiritual community so that we can continue to do the work of sending beautiful vibrations out into the universe from this place of focus, this beacon that is Unity Spiritual Center, Georgetown. So we take our tithes in our hands, and together we say, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love, and I trust God.
Everything I see, everything I do is blessed by your hand, God. I give it back to you. Everything I give, and every thought that's true is magnified in kind, God. I'll give it back to you.
Join me in our offering dedication. We bless and dedicate these tithes and offerings as an expression of divine love, and we release them to manifest that love in our community and in our world. We don't have any children, but we always bless the children around the world so that the next generation can find the peace that this planet, and it's coming. We were learning about that yesterday in the webinar. It's showing up. It's coming. So together we say, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ that you are. As a reminder, today's chaplain is Judy, and we're going to have LGM at Ann's house on Wednesday. And I guess that's it. So let's rise and end with our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, all is well. Have a blessed week, and thank you.